Speaking of monsters, Alex, I told you Howie Mandel liked one of my tweets about Little Monsters, the movie.
Yeah, you're gonna get him on our show?
I would love to. But anyway, I have an intro for tonight, Alex, and it's a good one.
You sound
you remember when I said it was going to be the meanest intro ever?
Yeah.
This is it.
I forgot that.
Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast where I give my three guests three movies and they try to come up with the most random, obscure, or minor actors from those films. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, the poster child for why first cousins shouldn't marry, Alex Young.
Yeah, rude.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I thought of that one when I was just falling asleep, but I was like, oh, don't forget that in the morning. That's a good one.
I told you, Jeff, stop thinking about me as you doze off. It's not appropriate in the workplace.
It's just you hopping a fence. It's How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm pretty good. Do you remember my neighbor Fran?
The Fran story from 2 weeks ago that dyed your entire laundry room red, essentially?
There's one washing machine that nobody in the building can use anymore unless you're just doing towels because she got Kool-Aid in it.
Okay.
Fran.
Yes.
I got another Fran story for you, Jeff.
Alex, she already has an episode named after her.
Well, you got your title for this one.
All right, great.
Don't worry, this story is shorter, though, because the last one was an epic. So I was walking down the street with my partner, and we bumped into her, on Bathurst, just kind of crossing paths. And she had this box in her hands. And we're like, hey, how are you? And she's like, oh, I found a bird.
Uh-oh.
And we're like, what? What do you mean you found a bird? She's like, oh, I was on Spadina. And I found this bird with a broken wing, which we assumed was in the box, but it wasn't. The bird was already at her house. I don't know what was in the box. The box is like a red herring. Anyway, she's like, I found this bird. It has a broken wing. And I'm trying to figure out how to calm it down so I can brace the wing. And my partner and I kind of gave each other a look of why don't you just leave the bird on the ground? I don't want to be rude, but it's a bird in the city. Gross.
Yeah, unless it's a parrot or some
sure. And
but
I
if it's
guarantee you it wasn't.
Sparrow, there are 100,000 of them. Let's move
maybe
on.
Don't have random sick birds in our apartment. This seems like the beginning of Contagion or Outbreak or 28 Days Later. This sucks. Don't have this. Anyway, she's like, I got this bird. I'm gonna try and blow some smoke in its face so that it is calm. I'm like, okay. And then I can brace the wing because right now it's panicking. We're like, all right, well, good luck with that. Also, don't burn our house down or give us all bird flu. But anyway, bye. Next day, we come out of the building. She's in the parking lot with her daughter. We're like, hey, Fran, how's your bird? And her daughter, without missing a beat, is like, it died. And we're like, what happened? It's been 20 hours. And she's like, well, I had a bunch of mugwort, which in my head, I'm like, normal thing for a normal person to just have in your house because you're a witch. Yeah. And so she's like, I had mugwort. I burned it. I blew that in its face. And then I had some weed. So I blew some weed in its face and then a little THC. And I'm like, you gassed this bird. You just smoked it to death because it has tiny little bird lungs. And you gave it 3 doses of whatever the fuck this is. But mostly, who has mugwort? I didn't know that was an actual thing you could buy.
I assumed it was a Harry Potter thing that,
Right. And I said to her, I'm like, wow, I didn't know anybody has mugwort. It's real urban witch, which she didn't like. She reacted quite badly to that. She didn't say anything. My partner later explained to me that she's quite religious. And I'm like, probably doesn't like being called a witch by random neighbors. Anyway, she killed this bird. She did it through smoke. And that's the story. Because Fran's insane.
I wanted the story to be the little girl goes, the bird's dead, and you're like, what happened? And she goes, well, all this happened, and yada, yada, yada. We have dinner for tomorrow night.
Just a tiny dinner.
Little wings, snapping them. That's sad. I mean, I get it. I have a house. We had robins in our backyard, and one of the baby robins fell out of the nest. So I did my best to help it not get eaten by my dogs. But after that, I'm like, okay, hands off. This is nature.
This story is 10 times more insane if you know that Jeff's daughter's name is Robin. So it seems that's the bare minimum of parenting, dude.
She's in the backyard. We're just...
Hey, dogs, stop trying to eat the kid. She's fine.
Well, let's invite in the first of our 2 guests, Alex. He's been with us 3 times before, all of them in season 1, where he won 2 games and came in second. So he's honestly one of our strongest competitors. Let's get him back here. Nick Krustis, welcome to the show. Nick, how are you?
Let's go. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Thanks for coming back. I know it's been a while, all the way back at season 1, so like long before Christmas.
Mhm.
But I wanted to save you for a special episode, and I think we have one for you tonight.
Super excited for today.
So let's bring in our next guest. This week on Deep Cuts the Game, we're diving headfirst into a swirling vortex of blood, guts, and B-movie brilliance with the master of monsters himself, Steven Kostanski. Whether he's resurrecting 80 space demons, giving leprechauns a second life, or cramming heartfelt chaos into a kid's lunchbox, Steven proves to make movie magic you can use a bucket of slime. My God, who wrote this
Jeff.
piece of shit?
You'll get there.
Steven proves to make movie magic you can use a bucket of slime, a rubber suit, and a whole bunch of ambition. He's the only filmmaker we know who could direct a creature feature and build the creature himself before lunch. So grab a hold of your hunky boys, brace yourselves, and it's about to get delightfully weird. Welcome to the show, Steven Kostanski.
Thanks for having me, guys. Very excited to horribly lose this game.
Well, we're very happy to help you here. I have 2 questions here, and these are mostly for Alex's benefit, because I came across, as I was watching 2 of your films, Psycho Goreman and Frankie Freako. So the question first about Psycho Goreman, which if anyone's looking for, it can be found on Prime.
It's also on Tubi, I learned.
Oh, Tubi! If you want to watch it for free,
Yeah.
I don't know which one's better for you. Some of our past filmmakers have said Tubi actually gets them more money somehow.
I mean, I don't see any of these visuals, so
Okay.
you can torrent it. I don't care at this point. Go nuts. Just watch the movie.
Just buy it because it comes with a cool action figure if you get the collector's edition.
Well, there's also that. Yeah, I mean, just having physical media is great, so I'd promote that over.
Don't steal that from Alex. That's his go-to line at the end of every episode. But my first question about that is, sports movie? Because by Alex's definition, a sports movie is anything where there's a training montage, and then some sports in it of any kind, in which he says Hot Rod is a sports movie, even though nobody's playing sports. So I would say Psycho Goreman is more of a sports movie, as it ends with a giant sports battle at the end. That's what they call them, Alex. Battles.
I would say that Psycho Goreman is as much a sports movie as Frankie Freako is a Christmas movie.
That was my second question, is Frankie Freako a Christmas movie? Because it takes place at Christmas?
Yep. Yeah, that is my response to the endless annoying discourse about Die Hard being a Christmas movie, which I am so sick of talking about. And
I won't ask it. I'm not going to ask that.
I'm so sick of people just in conversation being like, did you know Die Hard's a Christmas movie? It's like, oh, really? We haven't been talking about this for like 15 years now? So, yeah. The logic was, I'm going to like throw Christmas at the very end, so then Frankie Freako becomes the movie. People are like, actually, did you know Frankie Freako's a Christmas movie? And then I get to be at the forefront of that annoyance now. So, yes.
Frankie Freako and the Nice Guys. It's perfect.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot that's a Christmas. Well, it's most Shane Black movies are Christmas.
Every Shane Black movie is a
Christmas reference.
It's the best.
So a follow-up on Frankie Freako, not about it being a Christmas movie, but I got to ask you about Connor, the star of the film, playing a character by the same name.
That's how lazy I am with my
I was gonna say, just for convenience, hey, we don't have to change his name on anything here. We can just call him Connor when he's in character or not. It works out perfect. So as I'm watching it, the movie starts, and I was like, man, this guy's got a real like early 90s Dana Carvey vibe to him. Like Dana Carvey playing the straight guy. Like, I'm not doing any jokes. But then halfway through, when he gets a little crazy, all of a sudden he becomes Sam Rockwell. And like Sam Rockwell being like that fun goo. And I was like, that's great range on Connor to go from Dana Carvey to Sam Rockwell. So just how do you know Connor? Like, how did you...
I mean, Connor is another member of Astron 6, our little film collective that we started way back in like 2006, I think. And so, I mean, I've put him in most of my movies, same with Matt Kennedy and Adam Brooks. Matt Kennedy voices Frankie Freako. Adam Brooks plays Mr. Beekler, his boss. Adam also plays Greg in PG, and Connor's in Psycho Goreman as well. A pretty limited part. I actually ended up cutting out. He had like a big monologue in the police station scene, a really funny monologue that just stopped the flow of the movie dead, so I had to lose it. So Frankie Freako's a little bit of me apologizing for that and giving him a whole movie to himself. But yeah, I always stick those guys in all my movies. Like, you better believe they're all going to pop up in Death Stalker. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Connor's great. I don't want to give anything away about Frankie Freako, but I just love the cleaning montage at the end. Like, that's just like, that was the part where I was like, okay, yeah, like just, and they're also very proud of themselves. Like, they've done such a great job.
That is like, that's my kind of filmmaking right there. Is we just had this trash set. We knew the joke of like, it's going to be a bad cleaning montage, and everyone pitched in and came up with ideas of like, well, what are stupid things that they can do?
Yeah. Art.
Yeah. The slow zoom out of Connor sweeping and then throwing the trash to the side.
Yeah.
That was such a great collaborative effort. That the energy of moments like that on set that's why I like making movies, because it's just so stupid, and that's the only place you can get like really reach peak stupidity and find that kind of humor. So
if anyone's looking for, I believe Frankie Freako is definitely on Crave right now. That's where I watch it. I'm sure it's other places you could buy it probably.
There's a Blu-ray. It's Shout Factory, so you better believe there's a Blu-ray.
So I like asking this question of people who actually have an IMDb page, which I always think is really cool. If you've actually got an IMDb page, even if there's just one credit on it, it's something. But you have a pretty deep IMDb, based on your work, doing special effects and makeup and a whole bunch of things. You're directing, you're writing, all that stuff. So my question to you is, without looking, and hopefully you haven't like looked earlier today, because I would be looking every day if I had an IMDb page. Do you think you know what your top 4 IMDb films are?
I feel like the last time I looked, it was like some odd picks. I feel like they keep putting The Divide high up.
The Divide is on there, yeah. It's like number 3.
And it's like, that movie is from 2010, and I was not the effects designer or anything on that. I was just working on set. And
I was going to say, like, you've definitely worked on movies that are far bigger, where you've had more of that don't come up. So we do not understand how the IMDb algorithm works. Like, we don't get it. Like,
it doesn't make any sense, and it makes it tough when I'm doing interviews for my projects, because people are like, so you did all the effects on Hannibal? And I'm like, no, I worked in the shop on Hannibal. I was like just an employee amongst many, pretty low cog in the machine.
I think the way you realize, you just say yes, I did all the effects for Hannibal.
Not in my industry, man. Okay. You take credit for work that isn't yours, and you get crucified pretty quickly. It's a tough business to get into, and it's an easy business to get ostracized from. So yeah, I'm always make a point of, if somebody says that, I'm like, actually, Mind Warp Effects did the spearheaded the effects, and Francois Desjardins was the department head, and you list all the proper names, because basically make a bulletproof vest for myself, so I don't get fired from my next job.
On Hannibal, did you have anything to do? I think it's in season 1, because I believe you worked a lot on season 1, if I'm not mistaken.
It was only a few episodes season 1, like one episode season 2, I think.
Where the guy gets cut in half and left on the school bus.
No, I didn't.
No, okay, because we know that guy.
Oh, cool.
We worked with him, and we're like, you were in Hannibal, and he's like, yep. I spent most of the day on the slab being a dead body, and then they had to make a thing for me to be cut in half and be on different sides of the bus. So,
I mean, it's a fun gag for sure.
Yeah,
that's the cool thing about that show, is like they kind of did every possible scenario of disassembling a human being, which is exciting. But yeah, the one that I guess I worked the most on, it was the first episode that I started on. The reason I got brought into the shop was because it was so busy and there was so much to do. There's that totem pole of bodies.
Yes, yeah, that was a good one.
So I was just helping the team fabricate skeletons, and because it's like kind of tiers of gradients of decay. So at the top is a fresh guy, and then at the bottom it's all rotten skeletons. So doing a lot of like cotton and latex fabrication on like medical skeletons and painting them and stuff. So yeah, that was, I guess, my big claim to fame on that, was being on that episode.
It's a great piece, though. It looks amazing.
It's pretty sweet. I didn't get to go to set with it. I just saw them drive it away on a big flatbed truck at like 5:30 in the morning when we finished. And then, everyone being like, all right, go home. And it's like, oh, I guess the subway's not running because it's 5:30 in the morning. Which is cool. That happened a lot on that show. Just take a long walk.
That show's not one you can really watch with your parents unless they are like, like
because they're
like
cool.
Because they're cool, yeah. Unless they're cool, you can't watch that show with your parents. I will say, I don't know how he snuck into all these places to do these elaborate bodies. There's video cameras everywhere in the world now. Like, you're not going in and like slicing bodies up and making like, it's just like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's a pretty absurd premise that like there's like a cabal of supervillain serial killers who seem to be competing to make the most elaborate death tableau ever.
And we can't even get one good serial killer doing that right now, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Why don't we have a serial killer arranging people in the shape of an eye that you can only see from a drone view from above?
And they're all color coordinated too. Like, you had to get people with different skin tones.
I wonder, they should make a Hannibal spin-off that's just the serial killers doing the work. Like, it's the guy dragging the bodies.
Yeah.
Because that totem pole, wasn't it? It was Lance Henriksen, I think, was the serial killer. I think. Spoiler alert. But I remember being some old guy that in the shop.
Yeah, how did he do this? How did he drag out? Because it's like 1,000 pounds of bodies. Yeah,
but also just the pole that they're mounted on. Like, it's like a big telephone pole. You need like excavation equipment to rig that up.
Ladders and all.
Yeah, I want to watch. That's the show I want to watch. Is just
winches
them
and
figuring
pulleys
that out. Setting all this up and probably failing the first time, and I guess bystanders just being completely oblivious to all of this and being like,
"Oh, that's old Hank, always working out in the woods."
Old Hank and his corpses.
So your first, so we didn't answer the question, but yes, The Divide is number 3, Father's Day is number 4, and then you have The Void and Psycho Goreman at 1 and 2, which makes a little more sense.
Yeah,
but that leaves off, like stuff like It that you've worked on, and Suicide Squad, Crimson Peak, and Hannibal, and most recently in A Violent Nature, where you were part of that as well.
Yep, yeah, I did built most of the effects for that. Again, like everything, it was a team effort, but I was sort of spearheading that project. It was shot multiple times, so I was on set for the first round of shooting, not the subsequent rounds, but yeah, I was around for a good chunk of it.
That one was a hard watch. Like, just because I'm like, it's almost like House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm like, nobody's getting out of this. Like, there's no, like, the hero is going to save it all at the end of the day. It's just like,
because the hero is the bad guy, basically.
Yes.
Which I think that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of watching Jason Voorhees just go around and do his thing. Like, that's essentially what it is. So.
Okay, so this question, hopefully when I ask it, it comes off the right way. Alex sometimes gives me a hard time for the way I word things.
Okay.
So I've got it written this way. It's as this. I'm almost afraid to ask, but what inspired you / who did this to you? In a good way. Like, this isn't something that, Nick, look at Nick. Nick, I'm not trying to be a jerk. No, but I'm just serious. Like, there's, and I say that in a good way. Like, you're doing incredible work and you're doing something. It clearly shows that you love making. So, like, how? Like, what?
Couldn't the question just be, what's your inspiration?
It's so lame.
Well, and also, just so I'm clear on full context of, like, just me making movies and monsters and just being creative.
Yeah. Like, hey, there's lots of kids want to make a movie when they grow up, kind of thing. But you clearly have like an inspiration for a certain type of film, a certain type of humor that you want to convey to the world. And it's just like, what inspired you to get to here?
I blame the video stores in the 90s. I was spoiled as a kid. There was at least 4 that we'd go to. Like, on the weekend, my family would kind of cycle through all of them to find the movies we wanted. And the big childhood takeaway from that was just aisles and racks of like every kind of movie imaginable. And I think the overwhelming nature of that as a kid, just seeing like there's scary movies, there's funny movies, there's kid movies, there's adult movies, there's horny movies, there's adventure movies, like just every kind of storytelling being thrown at me as a kid, the overwhelming feeling of that. is what I'm always trying to capture with my movies. That's why my movies have too much stuff in them, because I want that feeling of you're watching a movie and you're like a little overwhelmed. You're like, I need to process this, and you're not quite catching everything that's going on. So yeah, I really blame my childhood upbringing of going to the video store, renting weird movies, renting
and
stuff.
They would rent anything to you,
yeah, renting stuff I probably shouldn't have watched. My parents were, it's weird, like they were loose in some ways with what I watched and strict in other ways. Like I remember one very specific incident where my mom, I told her to go rent me Hellraiser. I think I was like 12 or 13. And she went and she looked at the VHS box. She looked at the back and was like, you saw like Skinless Frank, and was like, that's too violent. So then she like reached to the other side of the rack and got Prince of Darkness and was like, oh, your dad and I saw this in the theater and we thought it was really spooky, so you can watch this. And like that definitely messed me up. Like what a weird movie to show a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Satan is a spinning tube of green ooze, and he makes zombie people. And
a guy, Alice Cooper's a homeless guy living in the alley.
Alice Cooper stabs a guy with half a bike. Like very unsettling and bothersome movie. And so yeah, stuff like that definitely like messed with me. Another example is, remember my mom renting me Guyver Dark Hero, the second Guyver film, straight to video, which is basically live action R-rated Power Rangers, where it's just guys in creature suits based off the Japanese anime and manga. So it's like cool creature suits, but there's blood and violence, and like Guyver slits a guy's throat right at the beginning. So that definitely messed with my head a bit. This idea of like, oh, there's like these like colorful, elaborate creatures, aliens and stuff, like all these monstrous things that a kid like me who loves action figures and you know, just monsters and things like monsters and aliens, that's being mashed with real life situations and real consequences. And so that's something that carries through my movies as well, is like colorful, exciting creatures being thrown into maybe way too real scenarios. The conflict between reality and imagination and fantasy is something that always interests me, because it was something that I was being constantly confronted with as a kid.
I mean, you triggered a memory of mine where I was a kid, and, you know, I'd play with like little Hot Wheels cars and stuff like that. And I would like drive them off the ramp and they would crash. And then I would watch how the car landed, and I would take a piece of paper and I would write down what I thought had happened to the people in the car, like what their injuries were. And I think my dad saw it and he's like, don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
And I was like, man, I could have been in like actuarial or something like that. I could have been, you know, a very interesting insurance guy.
Yeah, I was going to say insurance seems to be your destiny.
Yeah.
What an aspiration for a small child. Like, do you want to be a race car driver when you grow up? You're like,
nope.
No. I want to be a claims adjuster.
Yeah.
So all that, and not despite all that, but your first serious credit is the movie Capote, which is a different. I guess you got to do something and then see where it takes you, right?
That's just the nature of working in prosthetics and creature effects. Is whatever shop I'm at, I kind of just work on whatever comes through the shop. So I've worked on a diverse assortment of shows, worked on lots of hospital shows like Saving Hope, lots of just random things that aren't like, you know, they're not steered by my creative decisions. It's just purely work and what comes through the shop. And so Capote was an example of that. I was working at Doug Morrow's shop in Winnipeg. I was fresh out of high school, and he hired me to help do molds and lab technician work at his shop. And so I did some molds for that. My first real movie that I worked on, though, was right before that at Doug's shop. This movie called Tamara, which is like a Carrie ripoff from the producers of Final Destination.
Oh, nice.
I believe it's on Tubi.
At most things are. It's like, yeah. When in doubt, check Tubi.
And it has a real, what was that movie? She's All That. The one where it's like the ugly duckling
takes the glasses off.
Yeah. And so they do that trope, but they just give her like overalls. And they're like, look at how dumpy she is. And it's like, clearly she's a supermodel. But yeah, so I helped make some gags for that. And it was my first taste of working on a real movie. My first paycheck in prosthetic effects.
Nice. Well, we'll talk about some of the stuff you might have coming up. But first, we got to play a game of deep cuts and see how everyone does. I know you're a little afraid, Steven. I think this is going to be Alex's worst, possibly Alex's worst game ever. I think he's going to be real angry about that.
I do badly often.
But the first thing we got to do is decide who's going to go first, second, or third. So the way it goes is someone goes 1, 2, 3, and then 3 gets to go again. 2, 1, 1. So you get 2 picks in a row if you're at first and third. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an actor or an actress, and then much like we did for you, you got to try to think what is the number 1 movie on their IMDb list. Whoever gets the closest to the top wins. So,
okay,
for you being here, I've decided to go with Tom Savini. So, you want to get closest to the top as you can of his IMDb list. I will give everyone a hint. There's nothing here where he's doing effects or anything like that. These are all acting roles. So, Steven, when you're ready, I'm going to let you guess first, okay? What do you think is Tom Savini's number 1 IMDb acting credit? And now when I say he's not listed, these are not special effects roles. I can't guarantee that he didn't work on special effects in these films as well, but he is listed as an actor in these films.
So I don't, like we've talked about the IMDb algorithm and how that all works. Like it's
weird.
I feel you could go 2 routes with this. It could either be like a classic movie that he stars in or something a little more modern. I'm going to take a chance here and say Planet Terror, just because it's, from my knowledge, it's his most like probably his last big acting role.
All right. I'm not going to tell you where you are on the list or if you're on the list. We'll let you know in the second. Nick, since you're our other guest, what do you think?
I'm going to go From Dusk Till Dawn as Sex Machine.
Damn it, Nick. That was literally my guess.
So Nick goes From Dusk Till Dawn. Alex Young.
I mean, I gotta tell you, Jeff, I'm out of guesses. So I'm going to say TV. Is it Walking Dead?
Walking Dead. All right. Tell you this. Amazingly, only one of you is on the list. So at number 4, Machete.
That would
number 3. This is a weird one. This is weird. The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
What?
Where he is the shop teacher.
He's the shop teacher. Yeah.
That has it out with Ezra Miller. Number 2, Dawn of the Dead, where he is a motorcycle raider. So not even a big part. And then number 1, Nick, From Dusk Till Dawn. So well done, Nick. Where would you like to go? First, second, or third?
I'm going to take the back end of the snake at third.
Nick at number 3. All right. And since neither one of you were on there, you're both close. So I'm going to defer to Steven as the guest. Would you like to go first or second, Steven?
I guess I'll go second.
See how it's done. Fair
I don't
enough.
actually fully understand what the advantage is of going first or last.
First or last, you get 2 picks in a row, which some people don't like. They hate the fact that they have to come up with 2 names in a row. So second is a good spot.
All right,
so
cool.
Now I'm going to tell you what the 3 movies are. And I hope, like you said, you were a kid watching movies in the 90s. You were maybe watching a little darker than I was expecting. But hopefully these are movies that you came across. So we're going to work our way. We'll work our way up. From 1984, Gremlins. From 1987, Alex is going to be like, you love this movie. Monster Squad.
You do love that movie.
And from 1998, Small Soldiers.
Oh my God, Jeff.
While you guys are writing down some names, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Celebrate your love of cinema with MoviePosters.com. Whether it's cult classics, obscure gems, or your all-time favorites, they've got the perfect poster for every fan.
Your kids want a Tom Holland Spider-Man poster?
They got it.
Your mom wants a Kevin Costner poster?
They got it.
Dad wants all the Scorsese classics?
Jeff, they got it.
And don't forget something for yourself.
All of the above.
Go to MoviePosters.com and use promo code DeepCuts15 and get 15% off your next order. All right, we are back with another episode of Deep Cuts. We've got Nick Krustis, Alex Young, and our special guest, Steven Kostanski. And we have 3 movies: Monster Squad from 1987, Gremlins from 1984, and Small Soldiers from 1998. Alex, much to his chagrin, is having to go first. What is your first deep cut, Alex?
This is the deepest one I got, and I don't think it's deep at all. But I feel like you and I discussed Small Soldiers like a year ago.
Okay.
And I want to say Dennis Miller's in it. I couldn't even tell you if he's a voice or like a dad.
No, I believe he's in charge of the toy company that is making the toys.
Great.
Sorry, wait, who did you say?
Dennis Miller.
I think you're thinking Dennis Leary.
I am Dennis Leary. The one from
I wrote down. Yeah, you're thinking like
Fireman show. Yeah.
Because I wrote down Dennis Miller.
Various Ice Age.
I was like, yeah, he could be in that. In my head, the whole time I was thinking Dennis Leary, but you meant
that is what I
did mean Dennis Leary. So yes, Dennis Leary for 6 points, Alex.
That's a lot.
That's pretty good. Now, Steven, we're to you. You see how it's done. Dennis Leary, pretty big part in the movie, but not huge. Also not a giant star. But what do you think you got?
So just so I'm clear, now I'm just listing another name.
Another name. It could be from any of the 3 movies. It doesn't have to be Small Soldiers.
I might be totally wrong on this, but is Dick Miller in Gremlins?
Dick Miller's in Gremlins and in Small Soldiers. So you got one of the crossovers. Because it's a Joe Dante who did 2 of these films. So he uses a lot of the same people. I will tell you, there's 2 other people that are in both those movies. I don't think anyone will remember them, but they're clearly people that Joe Dante uses over and over again.
Yeah.
Dick Miller, yeah. What Terminator as the guy who sells or gives Arnold the guns.
Just what you see, pal.
So he is worth 11 points in Gremlins and 10 points for Small Soldiers. So a total of 21. You're doing great. You could almost stop now and be happy.
Jackpot.
The other thing, Dick Miller, he's always driving something. Because I think in Gremlins, he's a bus driver, like the school bus driver that's being tormented by the Gremlins. And he's the delivery driver in Small Soldiers that brings the toys to the kid. And it's like, I got a pre-order. But he's also a garbage truck driver in The Burbs.
Yeah, so, he's just always a working man.
Yeah, he's doing a job perfect for that. Nick, we're to you.
Asking for a friend. What's the lowest score that's ever been scored on this?
6 is the lowest. I believe this season Alex someone put up a 12. I think Alex might have put up a 12.
I'm going to beat that.
I feel like we're all going to go for Small Soldiers, which is
there's a lot of people. Yeah,
film that I keep telling Sam she needs to see. Plus the soundtrack was fantastic.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
War, Stroke by Billy Squier.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff. The toys are yeah, for sure.
I got to rewatch this movie.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Gremlins. I'm going to go Corey Feldman.
Very good. Corey Feldman is the young friend of the lead character for 7 points.
I'm out. Not the lowest. Not the lowest.
What else you got, Nick? You got one more.
See, I don't know if he's going to be a lot of points because he's kind of like the main actor.
Put points on the board, man. That's all that matters.
But he's the voice of the main guy in Small Soldiers, and it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, he is, of the voice actors in that film, he is the biggest star. So he's the least amount of points, but he's still worth 6.
Okay.
Because honestly, his Small Soldier looks the most like him of all the it's essentially a young Tommy Lee Jones. So Tommy Lee Jones for 6 points. Any guess what his character's name was, Nick?
Sergeant Stryker?
He's Chip Hazard.
Chip Hazard.
Chip Hazard. So, but that's all right. 6 points for Tommy Lee Jones. Steven, we're back to you. You did great, putting up 21 with the crossover with Dick Miller. What else you got?
After that, it's not too impressive. This one's actually just a full-on Hail Mary guess based off my half-forgotten memories of Small Soldiers. Haven't watched in forever. Is Phil Hartman in that movie?
Yes, he is. He is the dad, I think, of the female lead.
Right.
So Phil Hartman, man, I think the world would be like 10% better if Phil Hartman was still around.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I don't know what he would be doing. I think he probably would have transitioned into doing more serious roles or something like that. But
or just completely sunk into voice acting. I mean, all his Simpsons characters are the best. Like,
so Phil Hartman, same as Dennis Leary for 6 points. So it's another solid cut. You're doing well, Alex Young. You got 2 in a row, 2 and 3.
I don't want it. So Small Soldiers, I'm sure he's not worth any points, but David Cross, I seem to remember, is in that movie.
Yeah, he is one of the programmers of the Small Soldiers. Worth a little less than Dennis Leary. He's worth 5 points, Alex.
And is the female lead Kirsten Dunst?
Are you asking or are you telling?
That's my actual guess.
That's your actual guess. She is so she's the female lead, so she's worth 2, Alex.
Yeah, great, sure. It's better than a 0 that I was fully gonna expect.
All right, yeah, no worries. Yeah, Kirsten Dunst, one of her earlier parts. Kind of a equivalent to Scarlett Johansson doing 8-Legged Freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like you do that little horror film at the beginning kind of thing.
I love 8-Legged Freaks so much.
You do. I don't think enough people have seen it that I could put it into deep cuts, Alex.
That's
not fair. That a lot of people have seen Small Soldiers, but
I have that on the DVD where it was like the cardboard with the snap.
Oh, the snappers.
Yeah.
Snappers,
the best way to have it.
And is it like David Arquette like screaming at the?
Yeah, he's running from.
Yeah,
but isn't there also like one of the dirt bikes? Because that was the whole sell of the movie. It was like, oh, look at these like motocross guys getting attacked by spiders.
Yeah,
it's like all the promotional material like that.
Yeah, I wonder how the effects are. I think they were practical, but I'm not sure.
No, I think it was a lot of CG.
A lot of CG? Oh, that's a shame. Whereas Arachnophobia holds up, I think, for the most part. Like, that's a good one. Steven, we're back to you. You're killing it with Dick Miller, Phil Hartman. What's your third deep cut?
I was really struggling to just name anybody from Monster Squad, because to me, all I care about are the monsters.
I mean, the monsters, some of them are played by fairly notable actors now. I'm just, some, not all, but some.
So, okay, maybe I'll take another big swing. I don't know if this even counts, but was the Gill Man played by Tom Woodruff Jr.?
Shit, yeah, he was.
Wow.
Yeah. Tom Gilman. What is Tom Gilman known for? Because
Tom Woodruff Jr. is...
Woodruff Jr., yeah.
He's from ADI. It's a creature effects company. It's Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. I believe they used to work for Stan Winston's studio. Then they opened their own shop. One of their first big movies was Tremors.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But yeah, I love the Gill Man and Monster Squad. It was a Steve Wang, Matt Rose sculpt, and 2 of my favorite effects artists.
Because I think he gets like blown away with the shotgun, if I'm not mistaken. He gets his stomach blown open. He's worth 15 points because,
Sweet.
I mean, yeah, I don't, I know stuff he's done, but I don't think I would have known his name. So that's a good one. Nick, we're to you for your third deep cut, and then we'll give you guys a halfway point breakdown.
All right, so the deepest of cuts for Small Soldiers, Jay Moore.
Yeah, I think he is the other tech with David Cross. Like, they're kind of like back and forth. So Jay Moore for 5 points.
A lot of people in this movie.
There is, like I said, there's a lot of people, like when you hear their names, you're like, oh, shit, really? So at the halfway point, Alex, you have 13. It's not terrible. It's not the worst. Nick, you have 18. Doing okay. And Steven, you have 42.
Jesus.
I mean,
nonsense.
21 with Dick Miller and 15 with Tom Woodruff Jr. That is huge. Nick, we're back to you for your fourth.
Nope. Don't we have Stevens? Oh, no, he's in the middle. You're right. Yep.
Alex, who runs the show?
I'm going to stop helping.
How many episodes are we in that he's been your co-host? That's just what I want to know. How does it...
I mean, to be fair, I have messed up like 2 times. I've gone to the wrong person. So, but not this time. Nick, what's your fourth deep cut?
I do have one more deep cut for Small Soldiers.
All right.
Voice actor.
Okay.
Greatest NFL player of all time, Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, yes. Do you know what his... You don't know... You're not going to know what his character's name was, but he was Butch Meathook.
You could have given me a million guesses.
Yeah. So he is worth 9 points. So well done there, Nick. Steven, we're back to you. Cut number 4.
Am might take another big swing on a half forgotten memory of Small Soldiers. Does Liam Neeson do a voice?
Wow, it feels like he could have been. Like, now that you say it, like, he's not.
Damn.
But I wouldn't have been surprised if he was one of the soldiers or even one of the, I can't remember what the.
Yeah, I had it in my head that he was one of the good guy.
And using his like kind of like soft, nice, like, it's me, Liam Neeson.
All right, well.
But no,
can't win them all.
Nope, good guess though, but no Liam Neeson. But luckily you have a pretty big lead, so you can take some swings. Okay. Alex, what's your fourth deep cut?
Well, I have no big swings like all of Steven's that have paid off up until Liam Neeson, but I'm only laughing because of Jeff's spot-on Liam Neeson impression with his famous line, "It's me, Liam Neeson," as he says in all of his films contractually.
Yeah. It's me, Liam Neeson. Yes.
I'm out of anything that isn't the stars that I remember. So give me Fred Savage in Monster Squad.
That's not the movie we're talking about, Alex. You're thinking of Little Monsters with Howie Mandel.
That is what I'm thinking of. Well,
so
I got another for Monster Squad then. Is he not the kid in Monster Squad?
No, the kids are really nobody. Like, not to be mean to them or anything like that, but they're not actors that most people would know. And yeah, so Fred Savage is Little Monsters with Howie Mandel and Frank Whaley from Stuff,
who I always think he's in Broken Arrow. That's my touchdown.
That's right.
Because forever I thought it was Oliver Platt.
And Field of Dreams, which you've never watched, Alex, because you don't like sports movies.
That's right.
He turns into somehow Frank Whaley turns into Burt Lancaster. That's the transformation I want to see, where this 5'9" guy turns into 6'3" barrel-chested Burt Lancaster. But
like
nice
a Sailor Moon situation.
Yes. What is your fifth deep cut?
Well, I'm less confident that I know anyone in anything, but is Phoebe Cates in Gremlins?
She is. She is the female love interest.
Great.
Yep. Phoebe Cates for 3 points, Alex. Like we said, put points on the board.
300% more points than my last guess.
Steven, we're back to you. You did get a 0 last time.
Yep.
So, what do you got for cut number 5?
Best I can do is the lead of Gremlins, Zach Galligan.
I mean, the fact that you know his name is pretty impressive.
For a few reasons. He's the star of the 2 Waxwork movies.
I was going to say, that's what I got him. That's his other kind of best known for.
But also, we're in talks with him to maybe star in The Void during
prep. Really?
Yeah. And I still think about like what that version of the movie would have been. Because, I think we sent him the script and he said he was interested, but I believe it had to be a Canadian actor. There was all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff that I couldn't control. But, yeah, that's why his name is in my head.
Yeah, Zach Galligan for 4 points. So worth a little bit more than Phoebe Cates. He is the star of the film, but understandably, he's not Phoebe Cates, and nobody remembers him getting out of a pool wearing a red bikini.
Yep, not yet at least.
There's still time.
Nick, you get your final 2 deep cuts.
I have one name written down. So,
okay.
Gremlins, Judge Reinhold.
Works in the bank, is kind of the jerk. Is Zach Galligan's boss. He is worth 6 points. Nick? That's all right. That's good. That's good.
Got nothing else.
Really?
Not a single name.
Trying to see where I could.
I'm trying to think of.
I mean, there's some other Joe Dante from like other known Joe Dante films. They're like in Small Soldiers. Like there's some people, and even Gremlins had some people you'd be like, holy shit! But I can't. I do want to try to work you to someone, but I don't want to give anything away. Yeah,
I've literally got nothing. I can't give you a name. I could shoot one out, but it's not going to be it. I'm going to just guess because Small Soldiers, he's not in it, but I'm going to guess it is Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, he would have been a fun, like, you know, because there is a part where there's other toys and stuff like that. If he had, like, hey, it's me, G.I. Joe. That's my Sylvester Stallone now, where he's announcing his name. But he is not, Nick. But that's okay. You only put up
not a 7. Not a 7.
Yep.
That's all.
Not a 7. Steven, you got your last one. You've got a very good score going on. Do you have anything else, you think?
I'm pretty tapped out, so I'm just going to throw out another random name as a potential voice in Small Soldiers. Does Michael Dorn do a voice?
It's a good guess.
No, he doesn't. But once again, you're like, oh, wow. Like, you could have almost recast it with people you're picking right now. I'm like, yep,
yeah,
he could have done that. Michael Dorn. From as Worf, most known for, right, from Star Trek Next Generation. No, he is not.
Oh well, it was worth a
That's
shot.
Okay.
Clearly, I got to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, no, it's a stacked cast. It's crazy. Alex, it's your last deep cut. Right now, you're playing for respectability, my friend.
Jeff, I'm never playing for respectability. Let's be honest. So I, like Nick, am out of names, so I'm going to do a guess. But I also want to say, anyone who's ever at the Scarborough Town Center, go to the movie theater, because they have a 20-foot small soldier still suspended from the ceiling. Yeah.
Amazing.
With Mighty Mouse, or is Mighty Mouse was in the Pickering?
Mighty Mouse is in Pickering, but there is, I think, a Starship Enterprise still up at Scarborough Town.
Sweet.
I'm assuming it's been up since 1998. And it's also, ironically, way bigger than a small soldier. It's like 15 times too large. Anyway, does Stephen Root do a voice?
No, he doesn't. And also, I felt he could have been maybe like the other dad or something like that at that time. Like him and Phil Hartman would have been a good pairing. He is not, Alex. Okay, so before I give you your final scores, I'm just going to give you, there's a lot of people that didn't get picked. Only one person from Monster Squad. Nobody knows any of the kids for the most part. Frankenstein's monster is Tom Noonan.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Damn it. I should have remembered
that's a good
that.
one.
I'm embarrassed I didn't remember that.
Let's see. There's a little kid in that movie called Eugene. He's like the younger brother of like one of the kids. He's not anyone famous, but he is Bud's younger brother from Married with Children. He's a Faustino. That's his claim to fame. He's another Faustino. Deep cut legend Mary Ellen Trainor is one of the moms. She's the mom from The Goonies. She's in Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. She's in all of those movies. The Wolfman,
who has nards famously.
He has nards. He was in White Lotus. He's John Grise. He's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. He's the Wolfman.
Weird.
Stan Shaw from Snake Eyes. Good actor. And Alex, you were almost, when you had said Fred Savage, you were so close, because the bully in the movie is Jason Hervey, who is Fred Savage's older brother in The Wonder Years.
That's what I meant. Can I have the points for that?
You can. Let's see. Jack Gwilliam plays Van Helsing. He was in Clash of the Titans and a bunch of other older films. And then, weirdly enough, I don't know if you remember Monster Squad, but Dracula is on the plane and he drops out, and the pilot is an actor named David Proval. He's Richie Sampuro from The Sopranos.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a good one there. Gremlins, Hoyt Axton, musician and actor. Famously for me, he dated the woman who I think had something to do with Belushi's death. I'm not going to get into the specifics just for legal reasons, but it's a crazy story. Look up the woman who was with Belushi when he passed away and all the famous connections she had. There needs to be a movie, and not just some shitty made for TV movie. There needs to be a real movie about this one. Let's see. Anyone good? There was the two crossovers, a woman named Belinda Belaski. She was in The Howling, Piranha, and Small Soldiers. And then an actress named Jackie Joseph. She plays Dick Miller's wife in Gremlins. She was the original Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors.
The original Roger Corman one, the
1960 one, yeah. Artist Chuck Jones did all like the Bugs Bunny stuff is in it. Glenn Turman, who is a Super 8, he's the teacher that tries to stop the train from coming through. He's in it. Nikki Katt also plays a little kid in it. Nikki Katt. Tracy Wells, the sister from Mr. Belvedere. Jonathan Banks plays a cop. Howie Mandel, Frank Welker, Michael Winslow, Peter Cullen, and a bunch of other people do voices of the Gremlins.
Frank Welker should have been an obvious guess.
Yes, and Howie Mandel. I literally mentioned Howie Mandel at the beginning of the show and didn't cue anyone up. Tom Bergeron plays a news reporter. Joe Dante gives himself a cameo. Steven Spielberg is a man in a wheelchair. And Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet is in it, because he actually has an IMDb page of all the things he appears in now, including the Phantom Menace, where he's in a scrap heap in the back.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Small Soldiers. Kevin Dunn is the other dad. Wendy Shaw from The Burbs is the mom. Robert Picardo, also from The Burbs and many other things. Rance Howard.
Should have pulled Robert Picardo because he is a Dante regular.
Yeah. Rance Howard, who is Ron Howard's dad, is in it. The other voice actors, Frank Langella. I think he's got kind of the Liam Neeson look that you were looking for there, Stephen.
Right.
Ernest Borgnine. Yeah. Bruce Dern, another guy who was in The Burbs. He's Link Static. George Kennedy, Brooke Bazooka, Clint Walker. And then you get the good guys. And it's weird because it's Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer.
Amazing.
Are the good guys. And then there's two, they call them Gwendy dolls. Kind of like the Barbies, and it's Sarah Michelle Gellar and Christina Ricci.
Awesome. Whoa!
So if you haven't seen Small Soldiers in a while, go back and watch it. The final score: Alex Young, 16 points; Nick Krustis, 33; Steven Kostanski, the big winner, 46 points. Well done, Steven. Thanks.
Unbelievable.
Incredible work.
That's the opposite of how I thought that was going to pan.
So the big prize is, I say with,
it's an enormous burden.
Yeah, I'm just getting more and more sad that we don't actually have a prize. Any suggestions for a future guest on Deep Cuts? It could be someone preferably alive. It makes it a lot easier to book them. Could be someone famous. Could be someone you just think might be good at this game.
You should try to get Chris Nash, director of In a Violent Nature, on here.
Sure. I mean that's above where we were aiming earlier. I think we were talking about the guy who did Velociraptor or something like that.
Pastor.
Right? Yes, Velocipastor. But yeah, Chris Nash, awesome. I will. I'll try.
I mean, you try, and then I'll hassle him until he does it.
So mentioned it at the beginning. You got something new coming out, Deathstalker. Which is that a reboot of it was like an 80s franchise, right?
Yeah, I mean, in my head, it's a sequel, but
okay,
for the sake of, the movie making money, we're just calling it a reboot, kind of restart, reimagining, I guess, of the 80s fantasy franchise. So yeah, if you like my other stuff, you're going to love this movie because it's just wall-to-wall monsters, mayhem, and some silliness and some heart too.
And it's good. It's Daniel Bernhardt is the star.
Yes.
I don't know him by name, but then I looked at his IMDb page, and it's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's like Just in Ballerina, Matrix Reloaded, Atomic Blonde, John Wick. He's in Logan. So it sounds like he can handle himself physically.
And I mean, I know him mainly from the Bloodsport sequels, Bloodsport 2, 3, and 4. Specifically, my favorite one, Bloodsport 4, The Dark Kumite, which that was the movie I was watching, and I was like, hey, I need to put this guy in a movie. That was what started this whole train of thought.
These sound like movies Nick would love.
Love Bloodsports. Love the Bloodsports.
They're great. And obviously the Mortal Kombat TV show, Mortal Kombat Conquest, he's one of the main characters in. So yeah, super happy to have him in my movie. We really bonded, so hopefully we'll continue this relationship.
Get him again.
Keep making movies forever and ever.
When can we expect Deathstalker? Whereabouts?
I think the fall at some point. I can't specifically say when because that's a little outside my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Figuring out the release plan, but I believe later this year it'll be out and about. We're booked for some film festivals. Haven't officially been announced yet, but yeah, the fall at some point.
Awesome. So if people want to keep tabs on what you're doing professionally, Instagram, good place to keep track of you?
Yeah, at Kill Kostanski is my Instagram, but then I also have a Patreon account, Kostanski's Crypt, nice. Where I'm just posting behind-the-scenes photos and videos from all my past works, and then also giving little updates on what I'm working on now. And I'm working on putting together interviews and things and behind-the-scenes, edited behind-the-scenes vignettes about how to do some of the effects that I do and past projects and things. So yeah, that's probably the best place if you really need the full Kostanski experience, Kostanski's Crypt is where it's at.
Awesome. And before we sign off and do everything, I just want to thank our friend Brantley Palmer. I think he reached out to you first, and he was like, "Oh, you should get Steven Kostanski." And I was like, "Okay." And like literally the next day, he's like, "I talked to him. He said he'll do it." And I was like, "Shit, you should take Alex's spot on the show
for sure."
Just so Brantley, when you get to listen to this one, thanks very much, man. And you're also the first person who's ever bought any Deep Cuts merch other than myself. So thanks again, Brantley.
Wait, you guys have merch?
We have some shirts and stuff like that, and hats. I mean, I don't think we have enough people that really care at this point. So
I don't even have a shirt.
Yeah.
Can I get a shirt?
I'll flip you the link later, and you listen. You let me know what you want. I'll get you a shirt. Okay, if there's something you like, I'll
take it.
A shirt.
Being all right. Now the reigning champion, I think I earned a shirt.
Yeah. That's your prize. We'll say
it's just a burden though, because now it'd be like you got to come back at some point and defend your title. So
that's fine. Nick, that can be when I totally flub it. That's okay.
Nick, you got anything you want to talk about? I know you're going camping this weekend.
Yeah, I got nothing. Immediate future, I wrote Guyver down, so I might see that. I might watch that on Prime tonight. But other than that, I got nothing.
But specifically, Guyver Dark Hero, the second.
Yes.
That's the one that's near and dear to my heart, with all the good action and gore and stuff. So.
Now, can we jump right into the second one, or do you need to get that story?
Because that's what I did.
Great.
Like I rented the second one as a kid. It's fun having limited context to what's going on. It feels like
that's a good guy. Yeah,
that's how I used to watch all franchises as a kid. I would just be like, I'll start with Friday the 13th 5 and work my way backwards.
Whichever one's available in the store.
Yeah, and then you'll watch the prequels after.
Exactly. You just kind of jump around, and it doesn't matter.
I have the horrible habit of watching series finales before I watch the series. I've watched the last Lost finale before I watch anything. How I Met Your Mother finale before I watch the single.
Yeah, I've only seen the Better Call Saul finale. I have not seen any other part of that show. So now I feel like, why bother?
This is Billy Crystal reading the last page of a book in When Harry Met Sally shit, you guys. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying this is the smart way to do anything.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
Alex Young, what about physical media, and what is playing at the Review Cinema that you want to tell us about today?
Well, I don't have anything specifically that I want to plug at the Review, other than go there, go to the Fox, go to all your local rep cinemas. Don't forget about them during big summer blockbuster season, but also go enjoy those in the movies as well. Go out to the theater and see movies with people. It's great. Also, as
not from every story you've told me about going to the movie recently. Every time it's a horrible experience.
Sometimes you have a bad time, but you still have a story to tell about it, and it's more interesting than I watched it on my couch over 2 nights because I put it on too late. So go see it in the cinema. Also, as Steven said earlier, buy your movies, buy everything physically, so you own it, so they can't just delete it, so nothing can be edited. And if you want to find me and more of my rants about physical media and stuff, I'm at the Alex Young on Letterboxd or Instagram or Blue Sky or anywhere else you do your social medias. That's it, Jeff. That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, we're at the part of the show where Alex sends me an outro that he has written, usually 10 minutes before the show started, and I get to read it sight unseen. Is there notes, Alex?
There's notes. So because of Fran, who may or may not be a witch, I want you to read this in the style of a witch.
Okay.
You're free to interpret that however you want. You could be the Wicked Witch.
No, I got it. I got my witch voice. That's a voice I
don't know, whatever you want.
I got that. I was thinking you were going to make me do Psycho Goreman's voice. Like, that's what I was saying. And I was like, I couldn't remember. Like, I was like, someone's gonna have to remind me, because I was like, is it more of the like the it's me? I couldn't do it. I'm not even gonna try. So.
No, if you want to
don't stop. I want
to. No, I gotta hear it. I gotta hear it again. I don't want to do it.
I liked where that was going.
No. You gotta do it as a Frankie Freako puppet and just keep saying like Shabba do it the whole time.
It's just like anytime I hear Clancy Brown talk, all I can think of is like, that's Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants. No matter what voice he's doing.
That's your touchstone for him.
I mean, the voice,
not the Kurgan.
Yeah. All right, doing a witch voice. What? I'm not allowed to clear my throat. And with that, oh fuck, this sucks. I'm going way too high. I'm gonna bring it down a bit. I'm gonna bring it down. Fuck. making me do female voices that are like.
You could be a male witch, man. Do your own spin.
Oh, that's true. No, I thought they were like.
Those are warlocks.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was not the direction, Alex. You said witch.
Fair enough. Then yes, female witch. Go.
And with that, my dearies, our cauldron of curiosities is empty for now. I trust you found your brew of spells and trivia enchanting. Remember the best way to keep yourself... Oh, fuck, this sucks. The best way to keep yourself protected... What is it turning into? From stray incantations and mischievous spirits is to follow Deep Cuts anywhere you get your podcasts. May your charms be potent and your shadows long. The magic is always closer than you think. It's very close to my Green Goblin.
But I thought you were going to go with it.
It kind of went leprechaun there at the end.
Yeah, it's a little leprechaun.
It was accents from nowhere?
Yeah. Thanks for everyone. We'll see you next week.